A Cooper Discoverer AT3 can run around $220 a tire, while a comparable Goodyear Wrangler is often closer to $280. Same class, same size, same engineering team in a lot of cases, just a quieter name on the sidewall. We're ranking 7 all-terrain brands that quietly outperform their price tag, and the 4 checks that prove it. Number 1, Cooper Discoverer AT3. Founded in Akron, Ohio in 1914, and most people still think of it as their grandfather's tire. That old-school reputation is exactly why it gets ignored. In 2021, Goodyear paid $2.5 billion to buy Cooper and kept it running as its own value brand instead of erasing it. So you're not buying an independent budget tire. You're buying a tire backed by Goodyear's engineering and manufacturing scale, not a rebadged Wrangler at about $220 a tire instead of $280. The Discoverer AT3 handles daily driving, holds up on gravel and light snow, and does it for $60 less a tire than the Badge 1 shelf up. The next brand's parent doesn't build tires under its own name at all anymore for this segment. It just quietly runs the value line and lets the reputation do the rest. Number 2, General Tire. Founded in Akron, Ohio in 1915 and owned by Continental since the late 1980s, positioned ever since as Continental's value tier, running on what the industry calls trickle-down technology, compounds proven in the flagship tires years before they show up here. The Grabber A/T line gets strong sidewalls and dependable gravel and mud traction for about $140 a tire, against roughly $180 for a comparable Continental all-terrain tire. Same engineering lineage, different price. No tire company paid for this video, no sponsorships. Every brand here earned its spot by clearing 4 checks. First, the treadwear rating on the sidewall. Around 300 is balanced life. 500 and up lasts long. Anything near 200 wears fast, no matter what the tag promises. Second, the load index. It has to match or beat your door jamb sticker, especially if you tow or haul regularly, because a cheap tire with the wrong rating stops being a bargain and becomes a safety problem. Third, the company behind the label, Continental, Goodyear, Hankook, or Michelin ownership, means real engineering hiding under a smaller name, even when the badge on the sidewall says otherwise. Fourth, the DOT date code. 4 digits for the week and year built, because rubber ages on a shelf whether it's mounted or not, and a tire that sat in a warehouse for 3 years already has a head start on wearing out before it ever touches your truck. Run those 4 checks in any shop, and most of the price gap on this shelf stops making sense. Back to the list. The next brand doesn't hide behind an American giant. It hides behind a Japanese one. Number 3, Falken. Owned by Sumitomo Rubber Industries, founded in Kobe, Japan in 1909, and one of Japan's largest tire manufacturers. With decades of engineering experience, most Falken buyers never connect to the name. That scale is exactly what funds the tread compound work most independent brands can't afford to run in-house. Priced well below names like the BFGoodrich KO3, it keeps getting cross-shopped against. The Wildpeak AT series can run around $160 a tire against a KO3 that's often closer to $220, and has built a real following among overlanders for its winter grip, its 3-ply sidewall construction, and quiet highway manners you don't usually get on an aggressive tread tire. Spend 10 minutes on any overlanding forum and the name comes up before the marketing does. The kind of reputation that comes from owners comparing notes, not from an ad budget. The next one gets dismissed for the same reason its own factory tires get blamed for, which turns out to be the wrong reason entirely. Number 4, Kumho. Founded in South Korea in 1960, and today one of the largest tire makers in the world. Kumho supplies original equipment tires to major automakers, including brands that demand strict quality control before a tire ever earns a place on the factory floor. Factory spec tires are built to a cost target, not the spec Kumho actually sells at retail. Judging the brand by its OE tire is judging a kitchen, by the free bread. The Road Venture A/T line delivers real wet road grip and tread life with reinforced shoulder blocks built to handle gravel and light off-road use without the ride quality falling apart on the highway commute in between, at a price that has more to do with branding than capability. Kumho has also performed strongly in respected European tire tests, including recognition from organizations that don't hand out praise to protect a marketing budget, the kind of validation budget brands rarely bother chasing. Ask yourself honestly, would you have guessed that before reading the results? The next name isn't hiding inside a bigger company. It's standing entirely on its own, and that independence comes with its own kind of proof. Number 5. Toyo. Independent, Japanese, building tires since 1945 and standing on decades of its own motorsports and durability testing rather than a parent company's hand-me-down chemistry. Toyo runs its own tread compound research the same way the bigger conglomerates do, funded by decades in off-road racing rather than a licensing deal with someone else's engineering team. That independence is exactly why experienced truck owners trust the name even when it doesn't dominate the ad breaks. The Open Country A/T3 runs about $180 a tire, well below the roughly $220 for a KO3, while matching it on tread life and towing manners, with a tread pattern designed to self-clean in mud and snow rather than pack solid and lose grip halfway through a trail. It doesn't need the marketing budget because the reputation was built by people who actually drove on it first, on the kind of roads that expose a weak tire fast, washboard gravel, loose rock, the conditions that separate a tire that looks capable from one that actually is. The next brand is already trusted by cars that cost 10 times what yours does. Number 6. Nexen. Building tires since 1942, Nexen now supplies original equipment tires to Porsche, Volkswagen, Hyundai, Kia, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. A list of automakers that don't gamble on a tire that can't perform and won't put their badge on anything that hasn't passed years of internal testing first. The Roadian ATX runs about $130 a tire and carries that same engineering into a genuinely affordable all-terrain tire. Quiet enough for the daily commute, yet capable enough that weekend trails don't feel like a compromise, with a tread block layout tuned to keep road noise down without sacrificing bite on gravel and dirt. If those automakers trust the engineering enough to put their name on it at the factory, it's worth asking why so many buyers still walk right past it at the shop, reaching instead for a name they recognize instead of one an engineer already vetted for them. The last brand on this list is the one honest exception, and it deserves to be treated like one, not talked up past what it's earned. Number 7. Sailun. No Michelin, Continental, or Goodyear standing behind it. An independent company just over 2 decades old that spent that time investing in its own compounds instead of inheriting anyone else's research. The TerraMax A/T line runs around $110 a tire, hundreds less across a full set than premium competitors, and delivers real gravel, mud, and snow traction. Some owners report more road noise as the tires age, and Sailun doesn't carry the decades of pedigree Toyo or Kumho can point to. That's the honest trade you're making, not a hidden one. And for a lot of truck owners running errands and weekend trails rather than chasing extreme conditions, it's still a smart one.